And I want British Columbians to take the good news we're hearing today with the joy that it deserves. But we need to remind ourselves, not just today, but next week and next month, that we have a long, long way to go.
A big day for BC. After weeks of delays, the province's vaccine rollout is now ramping up and speeding up.
Good evening. The major development today, the province now says every eligible adult in BC should get their first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine by late July.
This thanks to the approval of the AstraZeneca vaccine and stretching the time between first and second doses to 16 weeks.
Some seniors and Indigenous people will start receiving their shots as early as March 15th. CTV's Binder Sanjan begins our coverage.
As BC enters phase 2 with more vaccines in hand, there's some much-needed good news.
By mid to late July, that we will have been able to give a first dose to everybody in our population, which is a significant shift from our earlier plan out into September.
That's thanks in part to AstraZeneca being approved. Doses are expected in BC next week. Also, the second shot of Moderna and Pfizer will be delayed to 4 months as studies show the vaccines are effective in the real world.
The important thing that we have learned is that these vaccines work, they give a very high level of protection, and that protection lasts for many months.
New national guidelines don't recommend AstraZeneca for those aged 65 and over, making room for essential workers and first responders to get immunized against COVID-19 earlier.
We're going to be rejigging all of those timeframes, but I think it's really good news. It means that everybody moves up in line.
Mass vaccination for the general public starts this month. Next week, phone lines open. Those 90 or older and Indigenous adults 65 and up will be able to call their local health authority for appointments starting March 15th. A week later, those older than 85 are eligible, and the week of March 22nd, 80 and up. You'll know where you can go when making the appointment. Mass vaccination centers are still being set up, and mobile clinics will go to those who can't get out.
Health authority call centers will never ask for your social insurance number, your driver's license, any banking information.
Although there is light at the end of the tunnel, we are far from out of this. We have months to go.
Premier John Horgan says while there's hope, it's not the time to let go of public health measures meant to keep people safe.
And Binder's live in Victoria tonight. So, Binder, you mentioned we're heading into phase 2 of this vaccine rollout. What about phase 3? How will that work?
Yes, Scott. So that starts, or is expected to start next month, and that is the phase that targets those aged 60 to 79, as well as Indigenous people 45 and older, and a group called clinically extremely vulnerable. So those are people with some cancers and respiratory issues. So we know that you'll have to pre-register and book your appointments. You'll be able to do that online. There will also be a provincial phone line, but that hasn't been set up yet. And again, this is all going to work in 5-year increments. So starting with those 75 plus first. There will be mass vaccination clinics at that time, and we are expecting more details in the coming weeks. Scott?
All right, thank you, Binder.